How's it going?
Good. Let's recap the strength of the start. We can't sync audio. We had to delay because you got in a car accident. We had to delay the redo day of the stream because I was late getting home from work. And here we are.
I mean, comparatively speaking, the issues today aren't so bad as they were the other day. So I'll take it.
Do you want to tell me what happened?
I can. So I have a pretty good track record. I don't get in car accidents that are my fault.
Pause. Are you standing right now?
I'm standing. Are you confused?
Okay, carry on.
I have a sit-stand desk.
Can I stand?
Yes, you can. So I haven't been in many accidents. I've been in 3, and this one was pretty much my fault. Some guy got real close to me. I panicked, swerved out of the way, kind of missed my turn, and couldn't crank it fast enough to not hit the old Mexican lady that I hit. She was very angry with me. But she's all right. I'm all right. But yeah, it was kind of shitty. I rocked my shin real hard. If I was limber enough, I would lift up my leg to show you. But it'd be very difficult. But I guess there's airbags down by your feet, which is fucking bizarre. And yeah, so my airbag deployed, the one in front of my face. It worked. It did its job. I didn't get hurt. It was awesome. Seatbelt worked. And for some reason, down by my feet, there's an airbag that said, fuck you. I'm going to destroy your leg. But I guess I deserved it.
Yeah, I mean, you assaulted a Mexican woman.
I did. I assaulted her. And then her nephew came. She's like, oh, here's my nephew. He speaks English. So I started telling him the story, and I can see it on his face. He did not speak English enough to understand that I was so sorry. And, you know, so he understood a little bit, but it was fine. It was not a big deal. It just sucks because my insurance is going to go up. That was a brand new car already. So whatever.
So the payout for the last one is going to have to...
Yeah, I'm not so worried about it because I did get into an accident where a drunk driver hit me, and that settlement's coming, so at least it'll be paid for.
I feel like if you get hit by one car, you can hit one car in return, I feel like. And then that's what you did.
Actually, now that you mention it, yeah, I think that's fair. I'm going to tell the court that.
It's like pay it forward at Starbucks, you know? Oh, the guy behind me hit me, so I'm going to hit the bitch in front of me. And now we're all even. Feels good.
Yeah, it was a little bit delayed, but, you know. It's fair.
I feel like we have to at least touch on it. The subject, that is.
Ooh, what are we touching?
Dr. Disrespect.
I didn't know who was going to bring it up first. Dr. Disrespect. So, man, fucking weird. I remember when it happened, when he got thrown out of Twitch and no one knew why, and he wasn't saying why, and it was like, okay, Twitch is fucking weird for doing this. But now that we know a little bit more info, it's like, hang on. This is a little...
It's still weird that Twitch did it because they didn't say shit for 4 years, and that's rough, right? But I'm still at the stage where I want to see the texts. Obviously, there's a lot of potential middle grounds that kind of like keeps him from being the bad guy here. But apparently, I don't know if this is true. I was just on Twitter. And there's a decent amount of like Twitch people, like Twitch streamers who are like bigger names. So they have like it in with like some of the inside shit. They're saying that he knew. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so easy. It's such a big subject, and it's so easy to hop on and to like, it's content, right? So all these content creators, including ourselves, are hopping on to to squeeze what we can out of it. But the thing is the rumors 4 years ago is that he was going to meet up with somebody underage. Those were like, but there was no base to it whatsoever. Now there's a little bit of base that he was going to meet up with somebody he was talking to who was underage at TwitchCon. His statement says there was no ill intent. You know, it was stupid. He agrees it was stupid. There was no real intent behind it, which is like, okay, well, whatever. But it's still kind of weird. You know, it's still kind of weird. He didn't say in his statement that she was only 17. He didn't say in his statement that I didn't know how old she was. Things that he should have said. And he didn't say those things. So it's like, well, did you know? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah, so obviously that long tweet that he put out. I don't know if somebody could like edit the tweet in so maybe people could read it, but if we can do that, it might provide context for anyone that's like unaware. But if you're watching this show, I'm sure you're aware.
The one he edited or the one?
Yeah. Yeah. That long ass one that he took the word minor in and out like numerous times. And he's just like, it's out, it's in, it's out, it's in. It's like, come on, bro. Like, get it together. Like, this is starting to look a little more rough than it needs to be. So with that said, I think there's a few details to take into consideration. If he knew or not, obviously changes a lot of things. Obviously, like, you getting bamboozled on the internet, it can happen. And it is what it is, right? Especially if he didn't actually do anything, right? Like if he got bamboozled and nothing happened, then I think we, just whatever. That was the other thing I think people got to consider. This was 2017. I'm not saying that any of this is ever a good thing to knowingly do. But what I will say is I think around the 5-year mark is when I think people start to change, right? And this was during his infidelity era. Maybe he's still doing some crazy shit right now that we don't know about, but we know he was cheating on his wife and stuff like that. Obviously, the very famous video of him coming out and like crying on stream and saying that he's been unfaithful and all that other stuff. And that was right in the sweet spot of when all that shit was going down. With that said, because it seems like nothing actually ever happened after this long period, I kind of feel like the outrage missed the timing. Does that make sense?
Oh, no, it makes perfect sense. And it was so delayed to where it's a bummer because I don't doubt that this guy has changed, right? I don't doubt that he's gotten better. I don't doubt that this conversation was probably so difficult to like mend things with his wife and his kids, and he went through all that hell, and then this kind of kicks him in the ass again out of nowhere. But it is still slimy. Me and Sarah were still talking about it today. It's like there's so many things that push and pull from this situation, but the bottom line is it's a little gross.
Yep. That's where it's always going to come back to that. It's like, yeah, we can talk about the details all day long, but it's just like, fuck, dude, do I even want to be on any side of like defending this at all? Right? Like, obviously there's, the term lawful but awful, right? Where it's like, okay, legally, maybe he didn't do anything wrong, right? Like they settled, whatever. But morally, do we know what road he was going down? Fucking absolutely. And we can sit there and be like, well, he wasn't convicted. Nobody pressed charges or whatever dumb line people want to draw on that. I don't think that's the line to draw because, all right, fine. Nothing lawful happened. But we're talking about morally. If he knew he was having those conversations, well, fuck, man, he might as well have pulled the trigger. He might as well fucking made it happen because if you're having those conversations with this person consistently over a long period of time, what do you think would have happened had they met up? Had they happened to go to a TwitchCon or a VidCon? What do you think would have happened? Because it seems like the only thing that stopped it is logistics. Like, oh, I wasn't there when you were there. Oh, whoopsie daisy, we missed each other. And it's like, okay, well, and if you guys got on a plane and met there, what's next? You guys are just going to take a couple of nice photos in front of everybody and that's it? No. If there was any chatter in that conversation about any sexual things at all, I think it's implied guilt and a show of intent. Now, if the conversation was the girl was just like, oh my God, Doc, you're just so attractive and you're tall and jacked and you're like my perfect man. And he kind of just like, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Like, if that's as far as it goes, and he let that conversation go, I would still be on Doc's side in that order, right? Where it's like, he's letting a fan gush at him. And what do? Like you just like, thank you. But I don't think that's what happened. I'm pretty sure he was like, hey girl.
Yeah.
When you going to be at TwitchCon,
The more transparency there is, right, the easier it is to digest these things and pick a side and understand, like, okay, yeah, people are just fucking canceling them for no reason. Because obviously that happens a lot, right? This is one of those scenarios where even if he is different now, like he made a dumb decision and it's creeping back up and that sucks. But, sorry, shouldn't have done that. The end of his statement was so strange because it almost clicked back into his character where he's like, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, fucking right. I'm here to stay. It's like, well, hang on, buddy. Like, what? Like, are you sure? Almost like there wasn't, I don't think there needs to be like this big, long YouTube apology, right? But transparency would help. And if transparency is scary, then that means it was more serious than we thought, you know?
That's what I was just going to say is like, if he really wants this to go away and he did nothing, just show the messages, right? Like, because I think a guy of his status, and I'm not justifying this at all, but a guy of this of his status could have like walked up to a line and still recover from it, right? If we saw it and be like, well, okay, maybe he just called her pretty or something like that. Like, you know, should he have done that? No, but is that necessarily like an evil thing? No, but like it is kind of sus. But you know what? We can, you know, whatever, right? But if it's, you know, again, like if that's all it was, then just show us. But he's not going to, which means, like you said, this is a rough road, right? Because I think most of us generally exist in a bubble where it's like you fuck with kids. I mean, is there coming back from it? Because we, as a society, we consider that the worst thing.
Yeah,
like you can murder somebody, and more people would be okay with it than if you chatted up like a 16-year-old girl. Right? Because as we consider it the worst possible thing, those people still think it's worth the risk. And that's a crazy fucking mindset to have.
Yeah.
Like everyone's looking around a table at each other like, we all agree we don't fuck with people under this age, right? And everyone's like, yeah, sure. Okay. And we all collectively agree that we all deserve death if we do it, right? And everyone's like, yep. And then there's still a fuck ton of people who are like, I'm still gonna fucking do it, dude. I'm still gonna do it. So like, is there actually coming back from it? And I obviously don't have the psychiatric background to know if that's even possible, because that might be a depth of like despair and disgust that like a human doesn't really come back from. So
the thing is I don't want the guy to fucking die, right? But that big of a mistake, even if nothing really happened, but showing that color of yourself and saying, this is something that I was doing, right? That's just what he got caught for, right? Even if that was the only thing. And I'm not saying he's like totally like predatory, like seeking out underage girls or anything like that, but I don't want the guy to die. I don't even want him to go to prison for this. He didn't do anything illegal, like on paper, really. I just don't want him to make, you know, $70,000 a month, $80,000, whatever he's at, $200,000 a month, whatever. Like, he does not get that anymore. He shouldn't get that anymore. You know, that's all I'm saying. When you're in a place, when you're on a pedestal, your well-being is just people funneling their money to you because they like your character. That needs to be pulled down a few thousand notches for him. It needs to. He can still live a happy life with his family, but go get a fucking job at Walmart or something. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen, but that's what I would want to happen, because I don't like when people take advantage of that status. You know, I said he's probably not a predator or anything like that, but the thing is, what he was doing was predatory. He was using his power, and a lot of times that's what gets people. They think, oh, I'm me. I can get away with this.
Yep.
And that's scary.
And without a doubt, that's what emboldened him, for sure, right? Was like, if he was just a, you know, I don't know, a random guy, I'm not saying he wouldn't do it, because again, these predilections exist very deeply inside somebody, right? Like, you know, I don't want to say to a genetic level, but maybe fucking pretty close to like a genetic level. If like, you know, this is what I like, this is what I want to do, and everything. It's such a deep part of our character, that like, again, can it truly be changed? Like, I'm going to liken this to like my rage when I game, you know, it's, I can make a lot of progress, right? Like, I think since I've come back to streaming and stuff, I've been way more chill on stream, but to say I don't feel the pure rage in my heart would be dishonest. It's still there. I'm just fucking bottling it all up to, you know, take it out on my wife later or something.
That's what I was going to say. It's going to come out somewhere.
I'm fucking kidding, by the way. I'm just kidding, stream. But no, but yeah, like, but honestly, like I do, you know, it becomes like a bottle up situation where it's like, I'm learning to hold on to it and then disperse it in other ways, right? Like I do martial arts. So like, if I'm having a bad day, I get to go literally strangle somebody. So, you know, I have my own external outlets, but am I still an angry guy? Yeah, I just don't have to project it in insane ways anymore. Now, when you take something like that, I mean, how does somebody who likes them young, how do you fucking bottle that up and disperse that into the world in a more creative way, or a way that doesn't harm people? I don't know, fucking hentai, I guess. That's probably how everybody else does it.
Yeah.
I also want to reorient this, how serious this situation is, in comparison to something I don't think people are considering, right? OnlyFans people on Twitch. So if we're that concerned, right, which we should be about Doc and what he was doing during that infidelity era of him, of his life, right? Like cheating on his wife. Who knows what else we don't know, right? Okay. We live in an era now where big titty streamers are finding crazier and crazier creative ways to advertise their OnlyFans. And they primarily do it by shittily playing games. Whereas like you and me will have our webcam in the bottom corner or something like that, very small, to see our reactions and stuff like that. And the game will be big because the focus is the game. Well, the titty streamers don't have that, do they? It's the other way around. A lot of the time, the game is fucking tiny, and they're like they're sitting on a glass stool with a camera shooting right up their ass. You know,
in a position that doesn't make sense. Sometimes I'll see things like Amaranth, and I'll be like I saw her gardening once. She was gardening on stream. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fun. But she was gardening in a position that just was very strange. But see, the thing is, okay, I'm going to come out and say, like, I don't give a fuck about titty streamers. I think it is the best thing ever that women are preying on neckbeards and they are falling for it, just funneling their money to these people. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. They found the secret sauce. If I could fucking do it, I would, but I can't. But continue with what you were saying, because you were getting somewhere cool. And I interrupted.
Yep, you piece of shit. No, no, but I agree. I'm kind of on like the Joe Rogan train with that, right? Is like if you can grift a bunch of morons, grift the morons. Life is fucking pain, man. And if there's a bunch of morons who want to see like the vague outline of your pussy in some shorts, and they're willing to pay you a lot of money to do that, and you're cool with it, fucking do it. I'm genuinely not judging you for it, but what I am judging you for, you motherfuckers, is you're not doing that privately, are you? You're doing it on Twitch. And if I could look up the statistics of who's watching Twitch, yes, there are plenty of neckbeards and dudes my age watching people play video games. But I'm willing to bet that an even more significant portion are 15-year-old boys. They got their little Venmo fucking credit cards that mom gave them so that they can like transfer money over to them when they need shit. Just like my son has, where he can type in his information in any of these titty streamers' OnlyFans, and now you are literally peddling pornographic material to 15-year-olds, right? So that is a direct link to, like, I mean, maybe it's not pedophilia, but it's certainly fucking something, right?
It's something. Oh yeah, it's bad. Honestly, it's something that's so easy to forget about. When I think of Twitch, it's so easy to forget that there is such a young portion of that community that has just infinite access. And okay, yeah, they have to hit yes, I'm 18 and shit. Like we've been doing that since we were teenagers, since the dawn of the internet, lying to get on whatever website. And it is alarming, man. It's scary. It's something really easy to forget about. It really is.
Again, this is not a justification for anything that's going on with Doc. It's just a recontextualizing of what we're willing to accept and not accept. So I think, in my opinion, depending on what was sent in those messages, again, I before I actually hold any significant judgment towards what's going on with Doc, I would really like to see the messages itself. Pending that, I would easily come out and like either be like, no, this is fucking stupid, or no, he's a criminal, like get rid of him, right? Until then, I'm not going to make any call either way. But if the internet's gonna go this hard over this, we really got to consider all these people that are out here literally taking advantage of kids, because that's what he's in trouble with, right? He had a position of power and he utilized it to bamboozle potentially a 17-year-old into God knows what. Okay, well, titty streamers are doing that every day right now. I could like pull up Twitch and go to just chatting, and I bet you 10 on the first page are like literally doing that right now. And if I go into that chat and I could see the stats on any of the accounts that are in there, which I don't think there's really a way to do that. I bet you a lot of them are like 15, 16, 17-year-old boys and stuff. And now again, do I actually care? As a boy, like when I was a boy, dude, I was finding ways to find porn. Like I'm going to figure it out when I really want it, right? So am I like saying that, you know, these kids are getting taken advantage of? Not necessarily, but if we're going to play this game, that it's the same, it's not the same thing, I guess, but it's It's something, right?
Yeah. I think it's a lot different than just pornography, though, because the element of the interaction is what's uncomfortable, right? A 15-year-old kid looking up porn, it's going to fucking happen. Like, okay, it's going to happen. But a 15-year-old stealing their mom's credit card to pay for lingerie for their favorite streamer, like, that's weird. Like, that's a weird, like, it's something that hasn't been around long enough. We're going to probably look back at this and be like, wow, we were really fucking up there. Like when, you know, at the dawn of live streaming, we really didn't think this through. And I think, you know, hopefully new Twitch guy, the new CEO, he's doing okay. He's doing all right. Better than the last guy. Hopefully more things come into play to fix that. He's done some things to try to mitigate that damage, but the big issue is the predatory side of Twitch. And I hope that does. I hope people like Doc, I hope there's something in place that literally prevents them from even trying to do that on the Twitch platform at least. The fact that he was able to even send a message to somebody underage should just like not even be a thing, right? It shouldn't even be a thing.
But the point being is there are things in place now, right now, that can be easily accessed, that can be put in place to help prevent this, or at least create a big enough speed bump to catch it before it happens.
Yeah. And maybe the reason why Doc got caught was one of those speed bumps, you know?
Yeah, maybe we don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there is more in play. Maybe it's a safer place than we think. But I don't think so.
I don't think so. Because I think, okay, so you got like regular citizens, you have legit criminals, you have Discord mods, and then you have like Twitch employees. I think that's the scale of like decent human beings down to shitty human beings. My problem with a lot of these tales that I've heard about like Twitch employees is like apparently like the bigger streamers get assigned a liaison to interact. How many fucking times have you heard of a story of the liaison to a female streamer falling in love with the streamer and making their lives hell? Or just being fucking crazy. So I don't know if you've heard those stories. I've heard those stories numerous times, and I think it was either Valkyrie or fuck, what's her name?
Pokimane?
Pokimane had a story that she finally put on one of her videos where she talked about, I think, like this, exactly this, where like the guy that was representing her or interacting with her was like some kind of mod or liaison for her, something like that, and was going around like goalkeeping like other people that wanted to like talk to her, to the point to where he was even saying that like, yeah, you know, me and her are considering, you know, being together and all this other shit. And it's like, what the fuck is like, what's crazy is Discord mods and Twitch people like keep getting hired like it's all the same people and they all just keep getting this shit. Or Reddit mods too. They probably deserve to be in there, those fucking assholes. Right? Like they're all just the same fucking losers at home looking for power that's easily granted to them so they can just exercise it with no one stopping them or no one looking over their fucking shoulder because they're doing it from home.
I think it's a job that's not taken seriously enough, not by the person who gets the job, because of course they're fucking rock hard for it, they're excited for it, and they abuse that power. But it's not a role taken seriously enough by Twitch or Amazon. Like it's that should, you know, fucking pay them an extra 10 grand and get people in there that you actually vet, that are actually good at their job, and see what kind of change that makes. It might make a huge fucking change if people actually took their job seriously. But a lot of these are just remote jobs for people that are fucking just excited to work for Twitch. That's it.
And zero athletic ability, probably.
Yeah.
Just absolute fucking like bench warmers.
Well, that's me. So be nice. For some reason, they all wear fedoras. I know that. I know that's canon.
Yeah, that is definitely true. We kind of super derailed from all of this, but my point is like when you hire fucking Dear Girl as like your inclusion expert, it's I literally don't understand what the fuck you're doing, because she's obviously so out of it, right? Like, can we all just speak freely here and agree that if you think you're a fucking deer, you're not totally there? I think that's a fair statement to say. You think you're a deer and you're an adult. You're not a deer. Okay? And sure, you have the right to pretend to be a deer. But let's just say if you think you're a deer, that kind of disqualifies you for certain jobs, I would imagine, right? Like the health and well-being of other people you're probably not going to be super good at that job because your health and well-being is not just like a little bit shaky. You think you're a deer. So I genuinely just don't believe that like Twitch has their head on straight when it comes to hiring some of these people. And I understand how some of these companies work. It's almost like a clubhouse, right? It's like, you know what? I know this guy. We're going to bring him in. I promise he's just like us. This is going to be sick, right? And then you bring the guy that's just like you into the group, and now you got another fucking deer running around, right? And then that deer is like, well, I know 2 more deer. Really? Where's those deers at? Oh, they're over. Deers, come here, come here, come here. And then there's one guy in the company that's like, yo, fuck these deers. And then all the deers are like, yo, fuck you, man. You're out. There's more deers here than you. So get out. This is deer country, bitch. Now, next thing you know, Twitch is being ran by a bunch of fucking deer people. And we're the crazy ones because we're on Twitch being like, being a deer is ridiculous. And everyone's like, not here. Maybe if we were spread out across the world, we would be like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the percentage of the human race. But because we all got hired into this clubhouse, there's like 15 deer people here. You're outnumbered, motherfucker. You better not say shit to us. Okay, dear people, you got me right now. We're in the woods and there's a lot of you. But when we go back to a real fucking place and a real city, there's only going to be so many of you versus the rest of the regular people with their fucking heads on straight. And just refusing to play this game with you. You're not a fucking deer, and you don't get to tell me how other deer people should be treated. Like, I'm not going to be a dick to you because you think you're, I guess I'm being a dick right now. But the point is like, if I see you on the street being a deer, I'm not going to be like, you fucking idiot deer or something like that. You know, I'm just going to be like, oh, that's a weird person that seems to think that they're a deer. And I'm going to fuck off and move on with my life. But when you give them power, you don't get to fuck off and move on with your life. They're going to follow you and nibble at your bushes when you get home, dude. And now you got deer people in your fucking yard eating your strawberries.
Yeah. But honestly, thinking about all this, it would be really fucking cool if it was actually deer people. Like hybrids. Yes. I'm all about, if we can figure out some fucking hybrid situation, you know, I picture them like 8 feet tall, giant antlers. Like, that'd be fucking cool.
Kind of jacked. A little jacked.
Yeah. Kind of jacked. Yeah. Handsome.
Yeah.
A handsome deer man.
Yeah. Strong jawline. Like, looking good. I'm down with it. But that's not that. I mean, deers suck. They're not great animals. They're kind of a little bit dumb.
C-tier animal, I'd say, right?
Easily a C-tier animal. Definitely below elk or moose. Easily a moose. Like, I've seen moose in person. I was like way too close to them. Pokemon Go just came out and I was like staring at my phone walking through like a little tiny village in the middle of the woods. And I didn't realize I walked up to like 3 giant moose. Thankfully, they weren't aggressive because I was way too close to fucking run away. The point being, it was awe-inspiring. I've run into deer. Those things are fucking stupid. How long ago do you think furries technically existed?
When did furries become a thing?
I actually think it's well before the internet.
It is. You want to take a guess? I'm genuinely surprised.
The 1800s.
I wish it was the 1800s. That would be really fucking cool. The 70s.
The 70s. Okay. Well, so my thought on that was there's got to be people that like wanted to invoke the spirit of like a bear, right? Like maybe they were like Native Americans or even more like savage human beings back like even further. They're like, I ate a bear's heart and I got its skin, its pelt on me, and now I'm a fucking bear, you know?
That's way cooler than being a furry, though. Let's separate those. That's a fucking druid. We're not talking about druids.
A druid is a furry, Cody.
But it's a higher form of furryism. I think, so there's the druid, and then below that banner is the furries. But I think the druid should be untouched.
I think we should acknowledge that the druid is a furry, for sure. It's in the category. Now, do I think a druid is cooler? Absolutely. But we can't let these fucks go thinking that they're not furries. They're furries. They literally become bears.
But do they become anthropomorphic bears? Because isn't that like the point of furryism? Like you have to be kind of like humanoid-ish.
You think that druid-ass bear can't talk English?
It can.
Exactly.
Again, I've seen it. I've actually fucked a bear on Baldur's Gate 3. It's happened.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm surprised you needed Baldur's Gate 3 to get that done, but that's okay.
I'm a little skittish in the wild, you know? I wanted to see how it's done first.
Yeah.
And the bear was very romantic, so I don't know if that's going to happen in real life.
Yeah, just caressing your face with this giant paw.
Anything can happen with tenderness, you know? I'm not going to shy away from love.
Here's the other thing. You know how we got wolves early on in humanity's history, and then we like fed them and tamed them, and then eventually they became like a wiener dog, you know? They went from being like over thousands of years, maybe more, of just like evolution down to this little shit dog that we keep in our purses and shit. That's furries. Long ago, we had druids and other cool fucking guys that were out hunting, you know, bears, moose, all kinds of crazy shit. They're probably fucking eating those hearts, doing all these rituals, putting on their pelts, and then fucking stalking around like I am now the fucking bear. And then fast forward thousands of years, and now they're putting on these stupid fucking blue wolf outfits and getting on Twitch, and that's what they do now. They are the wiener dogs of actual furries. They are the most sanitized, weak versions of druids.
You're making this sound like you're very passionate yourself as a furry, and people are watering it down, and you're not having it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I'm not a furry, but if I was, I'd be a fucking druid, dude. I would go out and kill a coyote right now with my bare hands, and I would fucking eat that coyote's heart.
With your bare hands, or with your bare hand, like you would transform first?
Obviously, I would transform into a bear and use my swipe ability. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's got a long cooldown, so I could use it once, but I'm going to have to finish that wolf off probably with my actual human bare hands. But yeah, I just feel like they regressed. They were cool when they were druids, and now they're not.
Well, even in the 70s, when it did start, reading a little tidbit here, it was just to celebrate like animations, like animated movies were really starting to become a thing with animals in it and stuff. They were like celebratory, but it really did become something like hypersexualized, which is a weird turn of events, because even druids, like, pretty fucking cool, right? And then even still celebrating animation at the dawn of animation and all these great films, you know, cool, awesome, not weird at all. But when you want to put on that blue wolf suit and
fuck,
not even real fuck, pretend fuck another suit, that's weird. That is a weird turn of events.
I'm having a vision from my last stint on Twitch. I think it's called yiffing.
Okay, let me look this up.
YIFF, I think. I might be wrong.
Okay, yeah, yiffing is used to describe sexual intercourse between furries. Yiff in hell or yiff in hell. There's some words I shouldn't say. Never mind. Okay, that's weird that this... It just goes into like, is this some kind of haiku? What is this? Like a poem?
Well, read it to me.
No, I can't. Yiff is a slang term used in the furry fandom to refer to pornographic content and anthropomorphic animal characters. It is considered tongue-in-cheek. The term is also used in a way to insult members of the furry fandom, such as the phrase "yiff in hell." Okay, there's the "yiff in hell" thing again. Is that like the worst thing you can say to a furry?
Like, it sounds like burn in hell, but for furries.
Yiff in hell. Okay, interesting. Why is yiffing called yiffing? Yiffing usually relates to cybersex between two or more members of the furry fandom and mimics the sound. I didn't need to know this bit of lore. Mimics the sound of made by mating foxes. That's what it's from. I almost want to look up a video of foxes mating, but I don't want to take it that far. This is enough. That's terrifying. The thing is, furries are weird, right? Kind of circling back to the Dr. DisRespect thing. I don't want them to go to jail. I don't want them to go to prison. But them having power is a little strange, because I feel like if you're going to be in leadership of any kind, I need to be able to trust you, right? And it's hard to trust somebody wearing a big blue furry mask. It's difficult to trust. But maybe I'm missing out. Maybe I'm missing out on the yiffing scene.
Yep. Obviously you are.
It is a little weird. And my brain can't fathom it yet. Over these next 6 months, I'm going to really dive in. I'm going to try to mingle. I'm going to try to yiff a bit and see if I can kind of come to an understanding.
Well, I think any furry that doesn't understand why a non-furry person, if they don't understand the confusion, then I think they're just being silly. You know, it's because I've had numerous furries in my chat who have openly like, I'm a furry actually, and let me tell you about furry culture. I actually do like learning about it because obviously it's so like off the wall. I don't know shit about it. And then I got some dude in my chat talking to me. I was like, well, that's actually called yiffing. And we have a term for that. And there's this, that we have a term for as well. And there's actually these really funny situations because, you know, we're trying to yiff in our suits and we got to do this and that. And it's like, there's like logistical things that goes on in the furry community that I've just like never even considered, but I actually like do find fascinating, but I can't say that I'm interested. Well, no, yeah, no. Well, no, yeah, no. I mean, I think I would do it ironically, like show up, I don't know, in something absolutely ridiculous. If I was a furry, like going to a furry party, just, I don't know, like be a full horse. just no humanity in the horse. Just me in a horse suit. I don't speak. I don't interact like a human with anyone. I just stand there and eat stuff out of bowls. And that's all I do. And like sugar cubes. And that's it. And then they're like, oh, I really like your fursona. And I'll just be like, and that's it.
Yeah.
I wish we could segue better out of that, but I think the silence says it all.
It's a tough thing to wiggle away from. It was easy getting there somehow. It was alarmingly easy to get there.
Yeah, you know, degenerate brain shit, you know. It's I mean, how do we bring it back? Oh, I mean, I guess we could double back on our real conversation, which was Doc. I think the other thing that we need to consider about this situation is Twitch, you know? Like, again, this is being discussed now, not that the immediate blunt force trauma of like Doc talked to a minor came out and we're getting past that a little bit. Everyone's like, yo, is anyone going to realize that fucking Twitch covered this up with Doc for 4 years? And I think when we double back on like the crazy hires that they do, like the fucking Deer Girls and all these other like very radicalized style human beings, including the two guys that were like monetarily, they knew about it and then they were on their Twitters like, hey, I'll tell you why Doc got banned if you buy tickets to my show. He's literally monetizing pedophilia in his mind because he said that he believed that Doc was sexting, right? Which is like, I think I'm comfortable enough saying that's pedophilia, right? So this motherfucker that worked at Twitch that no longer works there, I don't know if he was fired or he quit or whatever, but this dude's on fucking Twitter monetizing it. Like, you want to know how bad Doc is with pedophilia? I'll tell you, you just got to buy tickets to my show. And that's just two guys who used to work at Twitch. What the fuck is going on with the people that still work there?
Yeah. And I'm not defending Twitch here in this instance at all, but until I know more information, what I'm assuming is that Doc crossed a line, albeit not a legal line. Mm-hmm. He crossed a line where they didn't want to support his character.
Yeah.
They said, you can't be on this anymore because of this reason. This could have gotten really bad. And then he left. And there was a settlement. There was all this. And the settlement was, we won't like, his lawyer probably said, hey, here's a settlement. We're not going to say anything. We're done. We're just going to part ways. Like, there's so many legalities here, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say that Twitch like covered it up. I think Twitch said, whoa, pump the brakes. You're making a lot of money on our platform. You're being gross. You're out of here. Full stop.
Yeah.
And then I think legal came in and said, no one say a fucking thing. And that's what I think would happen, because that's what happens with these things. He's a very expensive entity, and he has the power to keep that tight-lipped because nothing illegal really happened. It was more of an image thing. Like, Twitch said, hey, we noticed this happened. You can't be on this platform anymore. So, because they do that a lot.
So supposedly there's an element to this that that Twitch was like reading what was supposed to be private messages. And I guess, again, the rumor that's going around is that, like, because they breached that, what's the word I'm looking for? privacy. They breached the privacy of Doc's messages. Supposedly the argument was, well, you guys are spying on the people on your platform, which of fucking course they are. Like, why would we think that no one's reading our messages on the back end? They're going to have like keywords or phrases that are going to trigger some kind of search on the other end that's going to require manual review, right? And then they have people that are going to do that. That's like probably most of the work that all those chuds that sit at home and want to work for Twitch do, is they probably sit there and fucking scroll through messages and be like, no, this guy's okay. Oh, no, this guy's actually bad. We got to ban him. He said something terrible, right? That's what's going to go down. But apparently what the talk is because they did that, they were able to like force the hand of Twitch. So maybe that's in play. Twitch makes us agree to so much shit. There's no way that their like agreement policies, when we sign on to have an account, there's no fucking shot that their agreement policy doesn't allow them to do that. Mm-hmm. So I don't even think that is a real argument, but I'm saying I don't know if it's true or not. So there's wiggle room that maybe it is. But I would imagine that the lawyers behind Amazon and Twitch were like, yeah, we're going to reserve the right to steal any fucking conversations that it's going on because we're going to be obligated to eventually. So let's do it now.
Yeah, well, anybody that thinks that anytime you open up an app on your phone for the first time, you give them permission. Like, people don't want to read through all that shit, but they say, yes, I approve every time. Like, just let it be known. Don't be a fucking creep, because they will find you, and they should find you. You know, I'm somebody that I don't give a fuck about my my privacy. I am boring. I don't break the law. And if you do dig through my shit, you might find some embarrassing things. You know, my Google search history of what yiffing is. Mm-hmm. The subsequent searches I'm going to do after this to find out more information about yiffing for science, of course.
Yeah.
But like, who fucking cares? Like, don't be gross. Just don't be gross.
Yeah, and I think that's like a good kind of a good bar to live your life on is if you would feel awkward about talking about it to somebody, anyone, then your morals do not line up with what you're doing and you should reconsider, right? Mm-hmm. Again, that's not to say you can't grow into it. Like I said, I fucked up the first half of my life doing stupid shit. And it took me a little while to grow into it. But once you grow into it, just fucking stay in there, you know? Just be the person you want to be. Like if you're hiding shit, I don't know, man. I think that's too much. It also creates a web of lies that is really hard to keep track of like who knows what and who can talk about what in front of who. That's really fucking hard after a while. So I'm really happy that like the life that I get to live now is devoid of webbery. There's no fucking like, oh, I know this about this guy and I can't mention this in front of her because she knows him and they're friends and they used to sleep together and this and that. And it's like, nah, man. I think that's all I really had.
Yeah, it's good. Any wrap ups?
I didn't realize I was going to struggle after the furry conversation to fill a couple minutes. Fuck, man. I wish I had some dumb shit. Hold on. Just give me a moment. Autism's a little funny.